What's the weirdest thing a guest has ever done at your house? I threw a New Year's party once. Someone I invited brought a group of people who I knew, but didn't exactly enjoy the company of. Sometime around 1 a.m., I noticed that my keepsake urn necklace containing my brother's ashes was missing. Then I discover couple of small lines of powder-like materials and lines on my bathroom counters. The had tried to snort my brother and stole the necklace his remains were in. I was livid. He said he needed to look something up on the internet, so I lent him my laptop. He then proceeds to watch adult videos on my couch while I'm 6 feet away from him. I took the laptop back. One of my best friends in college had to go to the DMV and I offered to drive him. Get to his place and he wasn't ready, he still needed the shower, so I'm just sitting on his couch and he says, "Can I get you anything while you wait? Would you like coffee or something?" Had a former friend visit me from overseas and literally disappear overnight and go fuck some guy that she's been talking to online, leaving me to field a call from her husband, who wanted to know why his wife wasn't answering her phone. Throwing out my toilet bin because he shit himself while peeing, so he needed to throw out his boxers and I guess my toilet bin too. I had some work people over for a dinner party at my house. We purposely shut off the lights leading upstairs to sort of let the guests know that the party is downstairs, i.e. don't go upstairs. Throughout the night, I would see one of my coworkers taking the dip out from his lip with his index finger and scraping it into his solo cup. Bit later, I went upstairs to check on my dog and hear some noises from the master bedroom. I walked in, I saw the same dude using my toothbrush to get dip out from between his teeth. He don't get invited to parties anymore. Wiped their ass on the white sink hand towel after taking a shit. Had plenty of available toilet paper. Called them out for it. They denied it. They never came to my house again. Dude, someone used my Bob Dylan shirt I left on the bathroom floor to wipe their ass. There was TP within reach. What the My mom made a friend at her church who was in need of a place to stay, and we had a spare room. So she ended up drinking about 25 bottles of my mom's wine in 1 week and ruining the mattress and rug with reddish-brown hair dye. That we thought it was blood for a long time. Sounds like she needs Jesus. My friend treated my house like it was his own hotel room. I thought he was coming to visit me and we'd coordinate stuff to do, but it turns out he just wanted to save money on a place to sleep. He had his own plans and he didn't tell me about any of them until he got to my place. And he even tried getting his other friends in the area to sleep at my place. I hadn't seen him in years too, so I was disappointed that I planned my holiday weekend around my friend, but he had other plans. I hope he was kicked out. I really hope he had to find a place to stay and, and he was just screwed. God, what a user. Wasn't my house a friend we had invited over to drink and stay the night? We sat in the garden, we talked and drank, and then one of our friends excused himself to the bathroom. He's gone for about 20 minutes until another friend said he would go check on him. He came back 5 minutes later laughing his ass off. The dude had gone upstairs and run a bubble bath for himself, lit a few candles, and even had a floating duck. The friend hosting was a cool guy, and he wasn't angry about it as we were all friends. And it's not like he used the toothbrush. The toothbrush guy was a dick. I wouldn't mind if someone used my bath, whatever. Ate the dog's pellets. The bag was nearly full before she came and was half full when she left. My uncle, aunt, and my mom traveled from another country to visit while I was in college and then stayed at my place. I had to leave for class in the morning and left them in the house to chill. When I came back from my class, my uncle had shaved my Shin Poo's legs down, thinking he did me a favor. My cute, fluffy dog looks so ugly with naked legs. But what's worse, he somehow only shaved 3 and forgot the 4th leg. One time, my parents invited some of their friends over. They had 2 kids, a couple years younger than me and my brothers, a boy and a girl. Since I'm the only girl in my family, I was forced to play with the girl. I showed her around my room and stupidly showed her my stash of Nutella. After a few hours of playing Minecraft in my lounge room, she goes to the bathroom. She was taking pretty long, so I went in to check on her, but she came out of my bedroom, Nutella on her face. I go into my room and check my stash to find out one of my jars is empty. I'm never rude to guests, so I let it slip by, but I've never let her in my room ever since then. I never understood the kids that would blatantly steal stuff from you in the most obvious way and then just carry on like nothing happened. It's just crazy to me that they were never taught, not to do that. I was always terrified of doing something I wasn't supposed to at someone else's house, and I would never, ever have just taken things without being offered them. Ugh. I invited 6 people for Sunday brunch, including an acquaintance, Kay, who worked in my department. Seemed like a good opportunity to reciprocate an invitation she'd extended within the past few months, a big gathering at her house with roommates. I stopped by for about an hour, had a good time amongst mostly strangers. It was a rare hot summer day in upstate New York, and I lived in a small house with no air conditioning. I woke up early to bake biscuits while it was a bit cooler, was running as many fans as I could to circulate air before the guests came over. Through the buzz of the fans, I hear a knock at the door. It was Kay. She was here an hour before guests were invited. "Oh, I was out for a morning walk, and then I realized I was in your neighborhood early. Thought I could help." And she waltzed text. I couldn't send her on an errand because she walked over. This was her first time over, maybe while on foot, and she needed to use the bathroom? Was it daylight savings time? My mind circled trying to reason why on earth she'd show up without so much as a call or text. I said I needed to hop in the shower. I was disgustingly hot, but she was welcome to add a batch of simple syrup to lemonade and pour herself a glass. I was in the bathroom for 5 minutes, and she got to work while I was in there. When I came out, she'd set food on the table, some of which wasn't meant to be served. She'd also gathered branches and leaves from the yard and created a tablescape. We made small talk as I chopped vegetables for a frittata and she whipped eggs. She did most of the chatting. As other guests arrived on time, she offered them lemonade and asked them to take off their shoes. And then it dawned on me, I had a gorilla co-host. As I set one of the last dishes on the table, she announced, "Come and get it," handed people silverware, offered to spoon different items onto their plates. The last straw was when she went onto my deck, picked unwashed mint, and tried to garnish someone's yogurt trifle. He pulled his plate away and said, "I don't want you touching my food." Mercifully, someone offered her a ride home since she'd walked over. I had never felt so uncomfortable in my own house due to somebody's well-intended gestures. Okay, but for real though, it doesn't sound like she ever pulled that person aside and talked to her. You know, you'd be surprised people don't realize that they're acting out or being weird. Sounds like you should probably try and set her straight. Just saying, as the YouTube commentator here, professional opinion. Anyways, when I was a kid, I had one of my friends over for dinner. We passed a pot of macaroni around the table, scooping it onto our plates with a wooden spoon. I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or what, but the pot got to him and he just sat it on his plate and began eating the macaroni directly out of the pot with a wooden spoon. It was me. I was visiting my brother and sister-in-law at their fancy new apartment, and I took a smelly shit. They had candles in there for just that sort of thing. So I lit two and I hung around while the scent worked its magic. Not sure how, but I didn't notice the black smoke coming from the candles was leaving black streaks on the walls. So I blew out the candles and tried to clean the walls. Toilet paper didn't work, so I used their white fancy towels. It still didn't work, but I ruined those towels trying. Eventually there was no escape but to fess up to what I did, and I was mortified. Gave my dog drugs because, and I quote, "She looked sad, so I thought some Molly would cheer her up." Looking back though, I tried to be patient at first. After hearing his attempts at defending himself, my reaction was pretty harsh. And I don't regret a thing that I said or did. F that piece of He gave them to a 3-pound chihuahua and almost killed the only reliably good thing in my life and the only thing that gave me any sense of happiness. And he couldn't understand why I was so angry and had the nerve to try and press charges on me. My roommate had the drummer, figures of his band over. Dude heats up the metal end of his lighter and just sticks it on my ankle. Sober. Burned the hell out of me. Didn't say a word or acted like it was anything but innocent and amusing. I have never met the prick before. Between fight, flight, or freeze response, I've never been frozen except for that day. Genuinely shocked. First college party. A girl drank 1 beer and started acting like she was so wasted. Got fully naked and sat on my papasan chair. One of the most embarrassingly attention-seeking people that I've ever met. I was the guest in this one, but I once fertilized a British couple's rose garden by puking a gallon of red wine and truffle stew all over it. I'm not welcome back, but why? Throwing up is not something that somebody generally decides to do. An old neighbor got drunk at a poker game at my house. She then went into my bathroom, left the door open, and peed on the bath mat. My friend walked in on it, and the neighbor said it was because she couldn't find the light switch. The hall light was on, which fully lights up this tiny, tiny bathroom. My cousin came to visit me and brought a friend. He looked like a junkie. 10 minutes after they arrived, his friend was looking really nervous, got up and pulled down every blind in my lounge room and was peering out from behind the window and asking me if I was expecting anyone, or if anyone usually comes down my driveway. I honestly thought he was about to murder me. My cousin then asked me if he and his friend could smoke. I said yes, thinking they were talking about cigarettes, and they proceeded to pull out a crack pipe and start smoking drugs. They then told me about how they drove for 2 hours at 180 kilometers an hour to get a huge amount of meth and wanted to try it out. I could not get them out of my house fast enough. Took the sample Mach 5 razor, it was new, and they had sent the whole neighborhood a full-size sample out of my mailbox. Shaved all of his pubes with it, and left them in my shower drain, and then proceeded to lie to my face about it as if the pubes just magically appeared there on the very same day everyone in the neighborhood got a new free razor in the mail, except for me. Give people free tattoos? No, he doesn't do tattoos. The kit was from Amazon. I was a kid and invited another kid to my house. He was like 10 years old. When he showed up, he brought like 4 to 5 family members with him. No parents, just siblings and cousins. They stayed just a few minutes. Everything was awkward. And then they said they had to leave, insisting on knowing the way out themselves. And that was that. About 2 to 3 minutes pass and I go to the kitchen for a drink. They're still in my house, hiding in the corner, stealing our silverware. My family's broke as hell. That's not real silver. They all scramble for the door, and the kid never really explained anything at school. Turns out they were poor too. Just dumb kids knowing the weight of money way too early. When I was 14, my landlord came to our apartment to fix the toilet, and he took off his pants and he did the whole thing in his boxers. I was alone with my mom and ignored him, but it was weird. And when I told my dad, he was furious. The landlord said he was going to a wedding later and he didn't want to dirty his pants, but it was just so fucking weird that he did it and never explained himself until my dad screamed at him. An ex-girlfriend and I had an apartment years ago. She was still in touch with an ex. The ex and his girlfriend wanted to come to the area, and we invited him and his girlfriend to stay with us for the weekend. We all hit it off at dinner. Great conversation, great laughs. It was a great Friday night. We had a spare bedroom, and that's where the two of them slept. FYI, we also used this spare room to store a few things, put our dirty clothes in hampers. I got up in the middle of the night to snack in the kitchen. No biggie. I do it too, and I told them to make themselves at home. Well, after chatting and having some chips and dip, I caught on to what they were both wearing. Our clothes. What? Now I know that people sometimes offer up clothes like PJs and miscellaneous clothing to a guest that isn't prepared, but they brought bags with them. What in the heck was in their bags that they needed to wear our clothes? Worst part was the shorts and the t-shirts that they both had on were dirty and visibly so. I told them that we had clean clothes and offered that up, but they said that they were fine. They ended up leaving the next morning. But who stays at someone's place and wears their dirty clothes? What the fuck? Yeah, we laughed about it after they left, but I couldn't help but be creeped out. Me too, man. What are you doing with that? You getting all up in my chili stains like what?